Hello there and welcome to Suffolk Business Life. My name's Craig Sennett and with me today is Tony Cheung. Hello Tony.
Hi there Craig. Hi.
Reason for Tony being here today is basically want to talk to him about something that I know he's involved in, which is Round Table. So I suppose really in your own words, could you tell me what Round Table is?
Yeah, sure. Round Table is like an organisation of, I suppose, young men, professionals who get together, and there's various aspects to it, really. I mean, one side of it is a social aspect where you can get together and have a bit of fun, but the other aspect is a sort of a charitable side where you're kind of fundraising and putting something back to the local community.
So is Round Table a charity itself then?
Yeah, I mean it is in itself, but principally, it's all about people getting together.
Yeah. So Round Table itself would raise money for kind of local projects and stuff like that, and hand that money to other charities essentially.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
I mean, as a fundraising kind of aspect to it all, and then it's also about giving it back to the community. Yeah.
So is there sort of a kind of overall strategy in place of how you go, because obviously charities, they plan quite heavily to go and do fundraising. I assume sort of Round Table's got some sort of similar framework and plan that sort of everyone works to, sings the same sheet sort of thing?
Well, the thing is with Round Table is that it's quite interesting because there's about 700 of them in the UK, and it's not just a UK thing as well. Okay. I only found out, fairly recently that it's an international thing too. And each Round Table is really governed by the members themselves and how they go about their efforts and their activities. And so for our roundtable in Ipswich, Greyfriars, we have a big aspect swing towards having fun, getting together, but also there's a big movement behind raising substantial funds and then putting that back into local charities to those in need.
With it being a kind of sort of the scale of it by the sounds of it, I mean, is there any kind of sort of top-down politics, or kind of is the organisation locally just left to do as it pleases?
I'm sure there is some kind of overarching membership body because there is a round table body, but to be honest, I get the impression each round table is really left to their own to their own ideas, and they get on with their own activities.
And how long have you been in it?
I've officially, been with Round Table just a little over a year, but I've been invited along to take part in various events over the period of about a couple of years or so. Yeah.
Okay, right. So why did you join? What sort of attracted you to it then?
Well, I suppose I was fairly anxious about it, to start off with, because I've never heard of it before. And I had to, I got this impression that maybe it was some kind of society, and I didn't really know if I wanted to be associated with it. But in the early days, I was invited as a guest, and so I could literally take part and find out what's happening, how you go about business, and then really after uncovering, from the those fears, I suppose, that it's just a great bunch of guys that go about principally, having fun, socializing, having a drink, doing some networking, but also there's the other side, which is a considerable effort towards charity fundraising and then helping out the local community. Yeah.
Because some of the people I know that are involved in it sort of said that the Round Table locally raises around sort of somewhere around £20,000 a year just for local causes, which is a sizable amount, especially considering times are a bit difficult, and people don't have as much spare money to put in the charity buckets and stuff like that. It's probably quite a worthwhile thing to a lot of charities.
Definitely. I mean, it's a serious amount of money, and in terms of the choices that table make behind how we raise the money, who we give it back to, and the effort, it's quite remarkable actually, and it's a worthy cause in itself. For myself and my circumstances, it was difficult at the start because I'm a busy chap. I'm responsible for a UK office of a German company, so that takes up a lot of time at work. I've got family responsibilities too, so that takes up some time too. But this was a good opportunity to spend some time, only once a fortnight, so it doesn't have to be too much. yet I get an opportunity to, make friends with a bunch of great guys, go and try out some new stuff, activities, have a drink, have a laugh, but also have an opportunity to give something back as well.
With the sort of setup of Roundtable, I mean, was it a business colleague that mentioned it to you, a friend, or sort of how did you get involved? Was it just someone you know, or
it was a couple of things really. First of all, it was addressed to me by a contact at our bank, through work. We had a meeting, and then as we got I suppose a little closer and became friends, there was awareness of this group available in Ipswich that he invited me to come along.
And in terms of sort of, you mentioned sort of once a fortnight, sort of everyone sort of gets together. I mean, is that on a specific day, is it, or?
Well, I mean, each table's different. We choose a Monday night, so it's not impinging on your weekend commitments with family. Yet it's not, too overarching, during the week.
There's not a lot to do on a Monday night, so it's probably one of the better nights to do it, to be honest. Yeah.
It's not a bad choice. It's not a bad choice.
You mentioned something earlier about Roundtable sort of being international. I mean, do you, or do you know of other sort of Roundtablers that have got out to see sort of life outside of England within the group, sort of thing?
I mean, Roundtable, now I'm part of it. That you kind of recognise and realise now that it's a massive movement behind it. I mean, apparently there's everything from I think it's 65 countries that it touches upon. Okay. There's roundtables in far afield places like Hong Kong, India, Brazil. Okay. So it's really interesting. Ourselves at Greyfriars Ipswich, we're twinned with a Luxembourg table, and it's quite fun. They're very hospitable, and sometimes we do exchange visits.
So you get involved with some of the international side, obviously commitments pending and all the rest of it, sort of thing.
Definitely, the opportunities are there too. Yeah.
So is there a typical type of person that would join Roundtable, or is it can it be your pipe fitter? Can it is it we understand it's essentially a sort of male organisation sort of thing. Is it literally any guy that's out there can sort of join, or come along and have a look sort of thing, or do you have to be in a profession or own your own business or anything like that?
No, there's no boundaries like that at all. There's really for everyone and anyone. In our table, we've got all types. We've got people who are just regular Joe Bloggs, who's just an employee. We've got people who are self-employed, so they're trying to, make business that way. And we've got people who are really influential, who are directors of really large companies and really important people. So all of the above. I mean, your work status or your professional status doesn't come into it at all. It
must be quite interesting though, because one of the things, people that I've interviewed on the show beforehand, one of the things that comes out of it, particularly for self-employed or small business owners, it can be quite a lonely place. You sort of have your family and your friendship group sort of thing, but quite often you don't have other people to share ideas with. Do you find, so in that aspect it must be very good, but do you find, professionally it can sort of help at all? If you need to know a lawyer, or for argument's sake or something like that, is there one there that you can sort of, bend the ear of?
Well, no, yeah, there is, and it's that old adage of knowing who to speak to, and at table you've got a great bunch of guys who you can maybe not only have a friendship, but then also maybe share some trust with and actually discuss some open matters. And in fact, some of the ethos behind the setup of Roundtable was to have people come together, young men come together, share ideas, discuss and improve. I think the motto is adopt, adapt, improve. So that means if you've got something that you're trying to get through, or whatever that may be, it's about learning those issues and sharing them, and then seeing if there's any other ideas on how to improve it or to resolve the issue, and then improve it or adapt to it.
Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of sort of networking groups, and I kind of get the impression that Roundtable's not really a business networking group. Essentially, it's but there are kind of people that will benefit commercially out of being involved and stuff like that. As a group, is it very formal? I mean, there's certain networking organisations where you kind of have to go every week or every Roundtable being a fortnightly thing. they have to go every fortnight? Is it kind of, is there a rigidly set structure that people have to adhere to?
Well, I mean, first point, it's not primarily a business networking venue. I guess it's just a natural thing that when you're with a group of other people, that you can use the opportunity to network if you want to. In terms of formalities, there's very little, especially in our table that I know of anyway. There's only a little bit of formality just to give it a bit of structure as to who makes decisions and who gets things organised. But really, it's take it or leave it as much as you please. There's no register that you have to sign in every time you go to an event. If you're not available or you've got commitments at home or you're busy at work, you're welcome to join or take a break from it as you please.
So if someone wanted to join, is there kind of a process they go to, or I know you guys have got a website, it's ipswichrroundtable.co.uk, and you're on Facebook and things like that. Is it literally a case of someone's sitting at home seeing this, thinking, you know what, I'd like to go and see what it's about? They just email the website, get hold of someone on the Facebook group, and and just literally turn up, sort of thing.
Yeah, nowadays it's so much easier as well, because you could not just come along and be invited to come along and take part in an event. You can look at the Facebook page and look at the photos and get a feeling for some of the things that we get up to. But like I said, each table is individual to your own area. So find your local table and get in touch with somebody there, either on the phone, or if it's more convenient these days, just to email somebody or even a Facebook message. Get in touch, and then they'll probably let you know when the next event is, and then ask you to be there at that time, and then they'll introduce you to the crowd. Also, and if you like it, you can then take it further.
Also on your website, there's I noticed there's a kind of calendar of events showing sort of what sorts of things are coming up and that. I mean, with Roundtable, predominantly to many people will be Rudolph. It's known around Christmas time. It's the Roundtable guys going around raising money with the big Rudolph sleigh. It's big. I remember it as a kid. I mean, most people will have seen it at some point. I mean, with what other things have you got involved in as a group then? What sort of other activities or or things have you been involved in?
I guess what's been highlights for me, even though I've only been a member for a relatively short period of time, is getting the chance to do some things that I never got around to doing. Okay. I know things like scuba diving, and I never tried it. Yeah. Had a go. Actually, it's not that difficult. Yeah. Fencing. Yeah. Okay. Sounds a bit poncy, I have to admit, but actually, it's kind of a lot of fun. Yeah. And we had a good night out, trying it out and actually having a laugh at the same time. So I can tick that off to say I've done that.
So you kind of get the sort of social aspect of it, because I mean originally you sort of mentioned earlier you have three kind of sort of areas to it. You have your sort of social side, so I assume that would be scuba diving, fencing, drinks down a pub, sort of golf or something like that, or any sort of random assortment of that. How do the business and the other sort of aspects fit in?
So there's the business meetings, which are as formal as most of the guys are asked to turn up in a shirt and tie to the meetings. But there you're getting together, having a meal, and then probably discussing an agenda on what are we doing about our charity fundraising. And which charities are we selecting to donate our raised funds towards. So it's important decisions like that, but really that only happens a couple of times during the course of the year. The other kind of meetings that we have are dinner meetings. So there, instead of having a casual get together, it's we're going to have a nice meal together. So again, possibly put on a suit
for a sit down meal sort of
sit down meal, have a suit, have a suit on, and but it gives you a little bit of variety, and that's what I like about it, is that it's not the same old every time. It's somebody in the background trying to come up with new ideas and watching out for other things to try.